All right. Um, Welcome, everyone. I just wanted to give you a basic introduction here on how to utilize your course. For some of you who are new to online education, I just kind of wanted to show you around how to get to places, how to do a few things, and make some important notes here. First off, I just want to mention that your major focus here is going to be the lesson tab here at the top and the grades tab. It's within the lesson tab that you'll find all of your weekly lessons. Now, I know the dates here. This is a previous class that I had from last semester, so don't get confused by the dates here. But you can see that the lessons have dates next to them that tell you when that lesson is due. If you're taking a summer semester, for example, you have to be careful because generally there's 2 lessons each week. In a regular semester, that's not so much the issue. As you're starting off a course here, the first thing you want to do is go into the Start Here folder. By the way, you can also get to all this stuff over here on the left-hand side under the map, if you see this. So if you click on Lessons, you'll see there's the Start Here folder. So either place will take you to the same spot. When you click on the Start Here folder, it's got some basic information. It tells you what you need to know about the course. It's got a greeting from the instructor, so I'll let you know what's expected of you. Here's the 2 things you need to print off: the syllabus and the class schedule. The syllabus, of course, lets you know what's expected of you in this course, and so grading scale and all those sorts of things are on the syllabus. The class schedule actually tells you when things are due. And so this is where you go to this is the go-to source for when something is due, what's due, what the exam is, covers, all of these questions that people ask me, and I say, did you look at that course schedule? So what I do is I download this, and I'll show you what it looks like. I have this, and what I do is I would keep this right next to my computer. So it'll tell you, for example, lesson 1, it tells you the due date, it'll tell you what your reading assignment is, it'll tell you what quizzes, discussions, and exams are due. So in this one, you'd have discussion 1 and quiz 1 due that week. And then in the Start Here folder assignment, you have the course agreement. So it tells you when things are due, it tells you what is due, and so this is a really great sort of resource to have sitting right next to your computer. What you can do, as soon as you complete something, you can cross it out with pen, pencil, whatever, cross it out, and you know that you're done, and you're not going to miss anything. So use this as the go-to source for when and what is due. It should show these on the calendar as well, but this is the place to go to if there's any questions. I go off of this one, so this is the absolute sort of standard for when and what is due. So print this one off. It's 1 page. It has everything that's required for the entire semester. So have that next to your computer, and you'll have no problems whatsoever. So um, so you want that one. Additionally, back in that Start Here folder, and I'm going to click here again to get to it, um, you've got your syllabus, what you want. It has expectations. It has how grades are determined. It has grading guidelines for discussions. A lot of times people mess up on the discussions because they don't give me enough information. They don't follow these guidelines. All you got to do is click here and it tells you this is what's expected of you in each of the discussions. So you might want to print that one off too. You can't go wrong if you have this sort of little folder with your Start Here material. Of course, this material is there all semester, so you can get there at any time. Back and Start Here again, of course, you've got project information. So your course will probably require a project. If it does, you're going to find that project information folder right here. So it's in the Start Here folder, so you can start looking at what's required of you. You can print off some of the things here. You can actually get started on the project in advance if you wanted to. So that's something. And then, of course, there's some resources and some other things in here. So start here is where you should start. You should read through, you should know all that material for that first quiz. Um, Additionally, in the Start Here folder, there's Cafe if you want to ask a question to other students. This is really just a casual chat place. There's a questions and issues raised by the class. That's if you have a question about an assignment. Other students can help you out with those. I can help you out with those. Um, Let me just tell you right now, the best way to get a hold of me if it's a direct question is to send me a quick email. And you can do that through that Communicate tab at the top. So send me an email if you want the quickest answer. I do check in here on the questions and issues raised by the class, so I will get back with you. But if it's an emergency or sort of time sensitive, send me an email. That's the quickest contact for me. There's that. Now, each week, or in the summer, each week you have 2 lessons, but for each lesson you just click on that lesson and it opens up. So I just wanted to show you here what you'll see when it opens up. You're going to see an overview of that. It's going to tell you what chapter you're looking at. You have an overview. It's going to tell you what you need to be reading and reviewing. So this week it tells you for lesson 1, says all the files in the Start Here folder where we just were, all the items in the materials folder, that's always going to be down at the bottom, and chapter 1 of the book which you'll have. It also tells you what's due for a given week. So it tells you your quiz, an introduction discussion, another discussion, and an assignment. That's all due this week. And then it also tells you what's coming up next week or next lesson. Could be the same week if you're in a summer semester. So you kind of can look ahead if you want to. I try to leave a little message here. This is just a little a thing for me that you can hear. It's a short minute long. So you can play that if you want to. I highly recommend you do. Just kind of let you know a little bit about that week's material. So what you would do for each lesson is you would read through this, and then you would go down to that bottom and you would click on that materials, this materials folder. And so notice there's a materials folder for each lesson and an assignment folder. Assignments where your graded assignments are, materials where the important material is. So in the material folder, for example, for this one, and don't worry if it looks a little different, I teach many different classes, but I designed them all to look the same. So the same sort of information will be true. You always want to go by those learning objectives. It says after reading chapter 1 and reviewing the PowerPoint that is found below, you should be able to do these things. It's from these goals, these learning objectives, that I derive the questions for the exam from. So specifically think about these as you're going through and studying the text and looking at the PowerPoint. Now, you could find questions that aren't directly from these. There's going to be other questions on there. But this is a really good starting point to kind of guide your reading. I like to put in a couple extra things on here. So for the first week or so, I like to have the textbook on there, first week or two. In case you haven't gotten a copy yet, you will need to get a copy of the text, unless it's sociology. In sociology, the text is actually available free online. But for the other classes, you will need to get a copy of the text. That is in your syllabus. It tells you what the text is. But I give you the first 2 weeks just in case there's a delay in getting it mailed to you or whatever. You can also use the bookstore here. But there's the PowerPoint, there's the text, and here's a couple little video clips. And I use these. You should pay attention to these because questions can come from these extra materials. But I try to do some short little things that relate to the topic. Since this one we're looking at myths, you get to see the true story of Thanksgiving, which is a Charlie Brown clip. I'm sorry, this one's the Charlie Brown clip, and this one is the true story of Thanksgiving. And then here's another little thing about Thanksgiving, using it as an example of an American myth. So just kind of getting you sort of thinking. All right, so after you feel really good about all that material, you feel great, what you would do is you would go back into that lessons folder, lesson 1, and you can come down here and go now into the assignments folder. So boom, there is all of your assignments for the week. Now in general, you're going to have a quiz each lesson and a discussion each lesson. So things may differ a little bit, but you'll know your assignments because they'll be in this folder. So these are the things you have to complete for that week. So if we had an exam this week, it would also be in this folder. So you want to sort of be sure that you know what you're getting into here. So you could click on the quiz when you're ready to take that. Once you know the material, you can click on the course participation agreement to complete that. And then here's your introduction discussion and your first discussion. So, and these are all graded assignments, so you would need to get each of those done for that lesson. So, like I said, be sure that you have that printed off, that schedule, so you know exactly what's due. Now, the last thing I want to mention here is I do not accept late work in this course. So, these lessons tend to be open a week in advance, so you can actually work a week ahead, so you can be working on next week's material. Everything is due when it's due. Initial posts for discussions, the first post you do is due on Thursday at 9 p.m. So that must be done by that time to get your credit. And then you must respond to at least 2 people. Those are always due by Sunday at 9 p.m. So the initial post is Thursday, so you have a chance to read other people's and get those done by Sunday. Quizzes are always due Sunday at 9 p.m. And I usually give you an extra day if there's an exam that week, so those will be due the Monday after that Sunday, so Monday at 9 p.m. Now, notice that means it must be completed by that time, by 9 p.m. So for a quiz, you'll have to start a little earlier. That means you must start probably, you'd want to be done by 9 p.m. Same thing for an exam. Now, um, technical difficulties are not an excuse not to get the work done. So I encourage you to be working ahead a little bit. I encourage you not to wait till Sunday evening to try to get this done. If there's a problem or something comes up, I expect that you will have time to get it rectified so that you can get back on. The only time that there would be an exception to that is if Angel itself goes down. And I'll know if that's the case. They'll let me know. So, if you lose internet or whatever, that's going to be on you. So, my best advice I can give you is be organized, be disciplined, and don't wait until the last minute to get assignments done, because that could really come back and get you. So, there's a lot of flexibility in a course like this, but that makes the requirements, or at least my flexibility, is a lot less, because I'm giving you that flexibility to complete things, to work ahead a little bit, but that means I do expect things to be done on time. So, I know that's a lot of information, but sometimes it helps students to actually see someone kind of go through and show you where you're going to be going and how you're going to be doing this. Um, and I just wanted to give that to you. So, welcome to the class. I think we'll have a great semester, and I'm looking forward to it. And I'll see you in the discussion forums, and you'll get feedback from me on your discussions each week. So, you'll be hearing from me, and good luck out there.